good news for the Cardinals.
Okay, good news for the Cardinals.
Good news is that it sounds like the Kyler Murray stuff is
clearing
over.
up.
It won't be over until they sign a new contract.
Right.
But let's hear a little bit, because Steve Keim was making the rounds yesterday. He was on with Rich Eisen here on Peacock and Sirius XM 85. Let's have a listen to Steve Keim with Rich Eisen talking about the Kyler Murray situation.
Every deal that you've seen done for quarterbacks after their third year have all been done anywhere from mid-July to about September. So I wanted to get through the draft process, free agency, all the work that we put into it, and then now we can take a step back, refocus, and see if we can get something done. But everything's been good. The lines of communication have been open with him, Eric Burkhart, his agent, and hopefully we'll be able to get something nailed down before the season starts.
So he has not demanded a trade from the Arizona Cardinals?
No. Nor would I trade him.
Nor would you trade him.
Correct.
Go ahead and expound on that. Why not? I mean,
because I was a decent GM when Carson Palmer was our quarterback, and when he retired, I wasn't a very good GM. And then now that we have Kyler Murray, I've become a little better GM again. And I'm smart enough to figure out that when you got one, keep him.
And no, it's consistent with what he said in the pre-draft press conference when he said zero chance that they're going to trade Kyler Murray. And that was the day that things started to turn. That was the day Kyler Murray tweeted, I want to win Super Bowls in Arizona. Arizona is home.
Right. Yeah.
That's the moment that I think it crystallized. Hey, Kyler, you may be thinking about life elsewhere. You see all these other guys changing teams, and you're thinking it's going to happen for you. It's just not. We're just not going to do it. And that's where you kind of call the guy's bluff a little bit, because as I've said before, if your franchise quarterback isn't all in, then why do you want him there? But Kyler Murray's not wired to be anything other than all in. He's not going to say, I'm just going to do the bare minimum. I'm just going to punch a clock. I'm just going to show up when I'm supposed to and leave the moment I can. I'm not going to try to hold teammates accountable and study the playbook and all that stuff. They're banking on him being all in no matter what happens. And also they're banking on a contract proposal being done at some point in the upcoming months. Keim previously in the day told Adam Shine that the July, August, September timeframe, I think you get it done before training camp opens. I think that makes the most sense. Once training camp opens, you're locked in for the season. You don't need the distraction. Let's just go ahead and get it done. You got time now. It shouldn't be all that difficult. You got May, you got June, you got July. Let's get it done before camp opens. And I know that it's probably a more complicated deal than it is for other players, but they should be able to get it done, Chris.
Yeah, I would think so too. I kind of see it the same way. Like you're kind of laying it out, like one of those things where, it's either done and he's going to training camp and signing it, or most of the details are done and he signs it within the first week at training camp, and it's like, that first week training camp news, hey, look, Arizona's got their quarterback locked up, something. But yes, hey, it's inevitable. It's kind of like we said. I mean, hey, Arizona's based everything around Kyler Murray and his skill set for the most part. And then if you're Kyler Murray, you kind of said it too. They're just, the grass isn't always greener. This place took you number one. They believe in you. They're going all in on you. It's hard to go to a new place and, prove to everybody who you are and get them to buy in, once again. Let alone, we've talked about there's a number of teams in football that would never let Kyler Murray be their quarterback because of his size and his stature and all that too. So, hey, it's I think this is a perfect marriage for each other, and they got things going in the right direction. Keim has surrounded them with talent. They got talent on defense, and they're one of the better teams in the NFC. So I wouldn't want to mess that up if I'm Kyler Murray or Steve Keim.
He hadn't been at the offseason program, though, and I've yet to see anything to suggest he's shown up.
Yeah, I haven't seen it either, yeah.
Look, I'm not setting foot on the field until I get the contract. I'm not taking on that risk because, obviously, if some freak injury happens, all of a sudden, we should probably wait to negotiate a contract until we know that you're going to be healthy. He's bearing the injury risk, so he needs to avoid getting injured until he puts pen to paper to finalize that deal. But they're still going to have a challenge. We've got that graphic of the top 10 highest paid quarterbacks. It's a spread of about $20 million. Where does he land? Where does he fall? And
let's see it again if we don't mind in the back. I'd like to see it
for the same reasons.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
The same. They usually what happens is we talk about it long enough and it pops up instead of having to ask for it.
I got
be a little
worried
more smooth about
it popped up, and I
take the lead.
Okay, we were worried it popped up, and I was like maybe so deep in thought and looking into the camera and looking at some things here on my computer that maybe I missed it. I wasn't sure. Look at this.
Here it is. So you see that spread, and you're not just talking about the top of the market now. Where's the market going? Where's the salary cap going? That's why I've always said that the best possible quarterback deal is tied to a percentage of the cap, so you're protected against your deal becoming obsolete like Patrick Mahomes' deal is going to be, and then he's at the mercy of the Chiefs being willing to rip it up and redo it. And presumably they are, but who knows? You never know when if they're gonna call his bluff and say, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Stay home? Gonna hold out? You're gonna not play football? Hey, you signed a contract. Honor your contract. Contract." So he is at their mercy to be willing to adjust it at the appropriate time. But those numbers are gonna keep going up and up. So from Kyler Murray's perspective, if I'm gonna lock in for X number of years, I want to factor in where the market's going, and that's what makes it harder to sell from a PR perspective to the fans.
Yes, right.
Because if all of a sudden he's the highest paid quarterback in NFL history,
right,
they're going to be like, well, you don't deserve that. Well, I'm anticipating where the market is going. I'm going to get passed by other guys. I'm trying to stake my spot now before it becomes obsolete by virtue of other quarterbacks that are going to be signing their contracts. But the average fan doesn't understand that. They just say, how dare he? I remember when Eli Manning was negotiating his final extension. And he was looking at, and this was at a time when the quarterback market was stagnating at the top. Yes. Probably thanks to Tom Brady.
Of course it was.
Right? But it was stagnating at the top.
New England was ruining it for all of them. Right.
And Eli Manning was looking at a year, the following season, with the franchise tag, based upon his cap number from the final year of his contract. It was a pretty big number. So if you do a contract based on the franchise tag number, lo and behold, Eli Manning is going to be the highest paid quarterback in the league. But it's a fair assessment based upon where you are, where your leverage is. Your franchise tag's coming up. You want me to do a deal based on the franchise tag? This is the deal we do. Oh, I'm the highest paid player in the NFL? Oh, well, stuff happens. But you know what happened? Somebody leaked that Eli Manning is looking to be the highest paid player in the NFL.
Right.
And fans lost their minds and other things. Yeah. How dare he? How dare he? Well, here's how he dare. Here's his situation. It's not his fault the market hasn't moved. If they want him to sign a long-term contract, this is what he's looking to make next year. Why would you give that money back? Why would you do that? So there's a PR component to this as well.
No
that's
question.
got to rein in Kyler Murray. You don't want to become hated by your fans because they say, well, who does he think he is? What's he ever accomplished? What's he ever done? Well, he's done plenty, first of all. And second, he's trying to do a contract that takes into account where the market is going because we see it's going haywire.
Yes, it is. It's going to explode. It's just going to continue to rocket upwards. It is. The NFL's killing it. The gambling industry's killing it. It's going nowhere. It's all going to go up, 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 up. The sweet spot is, going to be interesting to see where that is. It is. I don't think it'll go north of Rodgers or anything like that, but I would expect
Rodgers isn't a real 50.
Weird. I know,
Rodgers
it's
is kind of
weird.
a weird short-term Band-Aid.
Right.
I still think, in my mind, 46 is the real top-of-the-market long-term deal to Deshaun Watson.
Right,
yes.
And I would think he's going to dance right around kind of that number, right around there, at least, in the first few years of the contract, where it's going to be 44, 45, 46, somewhere around there. Yeah, I mean, again, is he as good as Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes, right now? No, he's not. You're right, but he is the guy that I think is worthy enough here, like we talked about. It's not just like, oh, this is some quarterback, now he gets the new contract to be the highest paid guy, the thing we used to complain about. This guy does have the potential, has already been a top 10 quarterback, borderline top 5-ish at moments here, to where you could go, okay, he is the highest paid guy for a few months or a year or whatever. This is the type of guy that I think, I don't think either one of us would be mad if that happened. I can understand that.
Well, look, he was the betting favorite to be the MVP until
week
he
11.
suffered the ankle injury it was week 8 against the Packers on a Thursday night. Next to last play of the game, right before he threw the ball to A.J. Green, who thought it was a run play or something. Didn't bother to look back for the ball. They still could have won that freaking game.
Right.
And then he was gone for several weeks, and he wasn't the same the rest of the year. But that's all the more reason to get paid. You need to get your money because you need to have the protection against the impact of an injury, not just the games you miss, but your inability to play at the highest possible level while you are less than 100%, but you still want to play.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.